I like the cold. I don't feel much. All of the old sensations are all still there, but they become dulled and obscured by a frosty glazed window. Satisfaction is now no longer gleaned from the smell of lavender, nor smiles summoned by the sound of child's laughter. Touch is likewise dulled, and one doesn't realise the importance of touch when navigating the universe we share. A door handle takes a Herculean effort, and a door knob is all but impossible. I miss touch. But cold. Cold is an all-encompassing sensation, impossible for one to ignore. It demands our attention, and we are powerless to resist those demands. I feel the cold. I like the cold. I yearn for the cold. I don't know why I got to come here. There are others like me, many others. I've seen them, been acknowledged by them, and known their stories without exchanging a word, as I'm sure they have likewise known mine. I no longer remember how it feels to sleep. I don't feel tired, not ever. I never thought I could miss that sensation, but I do. That said, sometimes I find the weeks pass in the blink of an eye without leaving an impression on me, as if I'm not really there for a while. Maybe that's when I sleep, or maybe that's just a matter of perspective. A week to a man with a week to live is a lifetime, yet to a man with an eternity stretched out before him, it's no more than the blink of an eye. At first, I stayed at home. I hid from those that had mourned me, watching them through cracks in doors or standing dead still and listening to their voices, feeling relief when laughter returned to the house and experiencing every painful second of their moving on. My happy home eventually became happy again, though occasionally punctuated with private tears. Eventually they moved on physically as well as emotionally. One by one they drifted away until a new family filled the rooms I'd once lived in and loved in. I watched the last to have known me leave, saw the tear in her eye as she looked over her shoulder and blew a kiss. Was it at me? I can't know. I watched another family erase what I'd once had. They did it so gleefully, rejoicing in their bright bedrooms and their homely kitchen. I watched them, disinterested in their lives, until they eventually moved on. More families followed, more redecoration obscured the decoration of each family's predecessor. Seasons came, seasons went, and I mourned my own losses, unseen in the darkness of the attic. Then, eventually, a family moved into my nest that wasn't a proper family. That much was obvious. Each seemed only happy when making their spouse, offspring, sibling or parent angry. It made me angry. The world within those walls had already begun to appear as an alien place. My world, the world I left, was far warmer. In it we shared love. Love we could feel in our homes and our hearts. These latest people scrubbed the place clean and retreated into themselves. I wasn't surprised when he left. Once he'd gone, the shouts of rage and loud accusations that had turned my home into my hell subsided, and bitterness claimed the atmosphere within those four walls, soon becoming so pungent as to even affect my own dulled senses. Then came misery and lies, so many lies, and lies of the worst kind, those lies one tells to oneself. People pretending to be strong when they should be telling those who care for them how weak they've become, never realising their misery will be only temporary, and making no attempt to repair. The pathetic self-loathing frustrated me, enraged me, but I was no more than a sentient shadow and therefore impotent in all matters. What was left of the family continued in their miserable existence, and I finally lost my mind. I don't remember much about the events of that first night. I remember opening the door and standing, framed in a little box of light from the doorway, casting no shadow toward her bed. She pulled her knees up and cowered in the corner, surrounded by stuffed toys. She could see me, or at least see the effects of the light being slowed as it passed through whatever I now became, a visual echo of the past. She'd been shaken from her slumber by the rattle of the doorknob, the frustration as it had repeatedly slipped through my fingers and failed to disengage the latch seemed to bring with it the weak form that had given my apparition a shimmer without a shadow, a shimmer she saw. The little bitch screamed. Of course she did, I'm a fucking ghost after all. The scream panicked me, and I rushed to try and quieten her. But I was like the wind. I tore around the room, whipping magazines from a shelf and posters from a wall. A plastic head painted to look like a whore that had stood on the window ledge and scared the life out of many a visitor to the house with its cold, dead stare tumbled to the ground noisily. Then I was spent. Whatever form the child's screams had briefly gifted me with was gone. I stood in the wardrobe, at one point with my nose just an inch away from the bitter mother's face as she demonstrated a lack of wardrobe-dwelling bogeyman in a theatrically flamboyant manner. The brat was having none of it. It didn't take long to drive them out. Nor was it difficult, just a matter of mischief, nothing more. Something to do. They didn't deserve my happy home. My happy home eventually stood empty. And one night, a couple of local kids smashed the window and let themselves in. They used a spray can to decorate the living room wall with filthy language, and one of them evacuated his bowels into the bath. This time, I was still not man. They'd scream as they desperately rattled the front door. They fell over each other as they fled back through the house and to the back door, where again they were frustrated by the machinations of a lock. One of the vandals tore his trousers climbing back out of my house through the window. The other cut his arm. I screamed at them, an inch from the nape of their neck where I knew they'd be able to feel my rage, and as I watched them flee I'd never felt so alive. For the first time in many decades, I noticed the world through the window and how it looked so good.